Let's see if we got any questions here. Thoughts on the fourth turning? Have you looked into the fourth turning, Rafi?
I've heard the term. I
Yeah.
think it has to do with basically the fourth industrial revolution and us turning all into, AI controlled goop, right?
Oh, no, no, this is different. That's the fourth industrial revolution. That's
Okay.
no, the fourth turning is about cycles, and basically Howe and I forgot the other guy's name. They wrote a book in the 90s, and they looked at cycles, and they look at generational. Every generation is 20 years, so it usually takes 80 years for people to forget things from 80 years ago. So things repeat themselves, and they
Mhm.
looked at, let's say, the fourth turning. They said it was the 20-year period between like 1776 and yeah, 1765 and 1780. When they had the U.S. Revolution. And then you add 80 years, you get the Civil War in 1860, and then you add 80 years, you get World War II. Then you add 80 years, you get 2020. So there's usually some big event happening in the
Okay.
fourth turning. So
That,
yeah, I think we are in the fourth turning. It's just difficult to say what's going to happen, but we're definitely experiencing things that we haven't seen for many, many decades. Would you agree with that?
yeah, I mean, my worldview changed in a way, very much so in 2020, because I guess until that time, I was hoping that the future would be better. And I've always known the end game was coming, but when I saw how people behaved in 2020, I knew in a different way, and I was no longer like I matured. I was no longer fantasizing about what the end game is going to be. I know it's going to be rough,
Yeah.
and we're going to be fine, but we can't imagine it's going to be like a playground or anything. And about the 80 years, just on a side note, there is biblical precedent for 80 years being significant, because that's the longest period of peace in the Hebrew Bible that ever existed. They have these verses that say that the land was peaceful for 80 years, and then only then the new judge came and dealt with the problems then. But 80-year span, that's the longest period of peace.